Whoa, we are back for some Bleach Soul Resonance, and I wanted to take a look at my, my run here, because we are now ranked 73. Before I went to bed last night, oh, we're now 74, look at that, happened in real time, that's very funny. Before I went to bed last night, we were actually top 44. You can check the community posts if you want to see that, check that I'm not capping and all that, but we were, I think, ranked 44. It was somewhere in that range, but we've dropped 30 places. Which is very fitting. It was 73, but now it is a perfect 74. And I want to take a look at the run. You can see that we don't have like amazing gear here. We do have the core stamp on both the Tosin and the Urahara. As far as the core stamp on Gin, it's just a generic one, but I think this one feels like one of the best for him. I don't know. I'm mostly just going off of vibes. It has felt pretty good though. We did not elect to use our Aizen because I wanted a chance at getting to, that 40,000, maybe even 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 breakpoint on Frenzy Feast. And to do that, I do need my Aizen to be helping out the Spirit team, right? I mean, you can see how much worse it is, right? So I do think that if we had Aizen for this run, we could have been talking maybe in the top 30 even still, like 33,000, 34,000. When you compare that I have 31,000 completely free to play without Aizen, it does feel like I could have placed, but let's get into the run. I do think it was a pretty smooth run. A lot of hiccups here and one sort of fatal mistake that in the grand scheme of things is one of the reasons that like I probably didn't place a little higher. Got hit there. That's so bad. What I was going for, and the capture on this, the replay on this is a little wonky. But we're going to try to get through this as best we can anyway. So if you see any things that it's like, oh, why are you standing still? I probably wasn't standing still. The replay feature is a little wonky, but yeah, I got hit there again. I was going for the dodge into attack, which if you don't know, I believe, yeah, you see here. If you don't know, I believe if you dodge with Gin, you get a perfect dodge with Gin. He goes immediately into his attack that restores a bit of his technique cooldown. So that is what I was going for. If you ever see me get hit, it's because I'm going for a very sneaky dodge. I get hit again there. It's so bad, man. So you can see that this isn't the most impressive run at all. Again, the capture messes up there, the actual replay function, but we're still doing our damage, You can see what matters essentially is what matters. I do think that one did miss. That one seems to have flatly missed. That one I'm just doing to get into Bonkai and using our attacks here. I think this is an issue of the capture once more. And go into counter attack, go into technique, huge damage from Gin. Gin does so much damage, man. So here is one of the reasons I wanted to actually do this is an important moment because we go for the ult here to try to break. Sometimes you can break Kenpachi out of this and everything is chill. Other times though, you get to this point and Kenpachi's going to kill you. And when Kenpachi is going to kill you, your best option I think is to go into Urahara, get his buffs up and then die. Because we cannot actually stop the boy here. However, Urahara actually lives, which is pretty sick, pretty clutch. So we get the counter there, set him down, and we are going to start blitzing him with damage. I mean, if he doesn't die in this burst, I'd be very surprised. Blitzing, impale stacks. By the way, Gin just got a fix where his impale was not actually proccing properly when he was on field. So he should be even better now somehow, right? And there's the end. I believe he just like literally explodes. So there is the fight in totality. Some hiccups there that were definitely due to the capture, some that were due to my own playing, but ultimately we can see that as a free to play, being in the top 100, I mean, Bleach Soul Resonance is not a game that like you can't get into, and that's something that's so fun, right? One thing that's happening with Dokkan right now is people are like, oh, the power creep, the content, it's so bad, it's so hard, is this the worst it's ever been? We have big name YouTubers like Garesh talking about it, and my thing is, when it comes to Dokkan, and maybe you don't want to hear this because it's about Dokkan and not Bleach, but My thing is, if there's no leaderboard, if there's no ranking, if there's nothing, then you are playing in the sand. It is a sandbox, and it does not matter. Literally just go fight a weaker fight, and it does not matter, and leave the big boy fights to the people who care. Because you don't get most of your stones from events. You get most of your stones from like logins in Dokkan and like events like that. You very rarely, and easy A's, you very rarely get all of your stone count from just completing the like hard fights itemless. Especially, you don't need to do them itemless, right? But yeah, it is very odd, I always feel, when Dokkan's difficulty comes up and there's literally no leaderboard, whereas in Bleach we immediately have a leaderboard, we immediately have a way to pit our accounts against people, and guess what, we immediately have a system that allows free-to-play players to actually compete. Top 100 as free-to-play is not too shabby at all. I'm going through my gear here. This is a piece I would really like to better. I'm undecided as to whether I want to level 30 it or not. It is not bad. It is definitely not bad, and it might just be, you know, trying to put in on resources I don't have. Because when you compare it to Aizen specifically, like Aizen's is one I want to do because this one would be phenomenal, right? But yeah, I'm undecided as far as Geens goes. I do like his two other pieces. These are certainly staying. These will not be moving at all in the immediate. Tosin is not a character that is built particularly well. He has a 1 here, he has a 20 here, and he has a 10 here. Not exactly impressive gear. He does have his core stamp raised just for the, you know, meager stats, but he is, again, top 70, top 44 at one point with, you know, a free-to-play account with a Tosin this bad, 25,000 stats in general, and an off-color character, not using Aizen, just there for buffing. Like, I would call that pretty solid overall, right? Would you call that solid? I'd call that solid, so not too shabby. Last thing but not least, if you've made it this far, by the way, here's my UID if you want to ever add me. I am not a stickler when it comes to the friend list. If you ever want to add me, you can just add me. The only thing is that after a few days, if we go down all the way to here, if you haven't logged in like a week, you know, 4 or 5 days a week, I'll probably remove you. But if you decide to come back to the game, just re-add me. It's fine. I'm not like I said, I'm not a stickler. I'm totally okay with people just, you know, falling in and out of the game and adding me. My list is not exclusive or anything. It's not like there's a friend system in you know, Dokkan where I need to use your units or anything. I need to borrow your units. So yeah, if you ever want to check that out, go ahead and check that out. But I hope this was interesting. I hope this was like a fun little experiment. I really do think that it's so cool the position that Bleach Soul Resonance is in. I could see this getting worse as time goes on and we sort of, you know, players' accounts expand and this becomes more, you know, difficult to maintain. But honestly, with how accessible the characters are and with how gear dictates some of the more nuancy points, this is why I say that finish your gear and gear your characters. Finish your characters and like be done, be satisfied. Aizen is not changing. The only thing I would do to Aizen's gear is awaken this one because this piece looks crazy, and then I would get him his like core stamp. But I'm not changing his gear, right? His gear looks good. You know what I mean? It looks great, in fact. So there's no reason to change it, right? He is done, which means I can work on other characters. I just want to repeat this point to people. Once Geen has a better, you know, one piece right here, the one piece is real. Once Geen has a better left piece right here, he will be done. Whether I decide to enhance this one to 30 or go with a different piece, we'll have to see. But he'll be done, which means I don't have to worry about him anymore. And the only thing that'll be making him stronger are levels, core stamps, dupes, weapon dupes, etc. Right? Does that make sense? So finish your characters off. Don't just dilly-dally. Don't spread your resources so thin that you end up in position where, you know, you have a level 70 Urahara for some reason. You know what I mean? Like, one of the things I maintained really early on was I'm not raising Yachi to over 40 because I plan to get Byakuya and I plan to get Urahara. You know what I mean? Like, I knew that I was getting Urahara for free, so I wasn't going to raise Yachiru and, you know, put a bunch of resources in her and put a bunch of, like, gear in her and, you know, waste my time, right? Like, it's not that she's a bad character. She's pretty good. But once a character has fulfilled their purpose, why are you putting a bunch of, like, more into them? I kind of don't think I'm going to continue to try to pump up Komomura's stats because I've already raised my DPS. You know what I mean? And now that I've raised my DPS, the only thing I really want for my strike team is Mayuri as a support, or Mayuri as a tactician, or, you know, Soifon as a support, or Soifon as a tactician, right? I don't want more, you know, overlapping characters. You know, we can already place and get these high ranks. So it is what it is. I hope this all makes sense. I hope this is all pretty fun to watch. Again, sorry for the replay function in this game. It still needs some tinkering. So if you saw me stand completely still at points or do anything weird, just know that it was the replay kind of fudging itself. But yeah, like if you liked the video, subscribe to the club. We all go make it, and peace.